everybody? Welcome back to the NW Sportscast. The Seattle Mariners messing around with my emotions today, but they did get the job done. They got the win in extra innings. It did take them 10 innings, but the offense absolutely exploding in the 10th inning. Finally, guys, the Mariners have scored more than 5 runs in a game. We were the last team to reach that milestone, but we did it. It took us 13 games, but guys, the streak is over. The Mariners have officially scored 6 runs in a game. Yes, it took us 10 innings to do it. Yes, it needed a 5-run 10th inning to do it, but we did it. It's over with, and hopefully maybe this means the offense is going to be able to kind of break out of that early season shell that they have been in. So, guys, let's go over what exactly happened in this game. Well, the player of the game obviously has got to be Logan Gilbert. Dude was filthy today. He was absolutely incredible. He was dealing. He threw 8 strikeouts. He allows the 1 run off of that home run that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. took him deep in the 7th inning. So Vladdy did, cost Logan. And again, the home runs, a bit of a concern there if you want to say that. But ultimately, guys, this is a really, really good game from Logan Gilbert. He lowers his ERA to 2.66, which is 38th now in the league. And he's had 23 strikeouts, which is actually leading the American League. Only one pitcher has more strikeouts than Logan Gilbert this year, and that would be Tyler Glasnow. However, Tyler Glasnow, of course, he started 4 games because he had that extra start in Japan. So really, Logan Gilbert, of pitchers who have played 3 games, he leads the American League, and he leads all pitchers who've started 3 games in strikeouts. That's a cool little stat to see him. He really has performed like the Mariners' ace, while we have Castillo and Kirby both struggling. However, the Mariners, it looked like it was going to be another one of those days where the Mariners just weren't going to score any runs. Of course, they through 9 innings, they had 3 hits, 3 walks, and they had struck out 13 times. That's right, guys. 13 strikeouts in 9 innings. Not very good. Julio had 3 strikeouts. Ty France had 2. Mitch Haniger had 2. Polanco had 2. Mitch Garver had 2. It was just everyone besides Dylan Moore and J.P. Crawford had struck out. That 1 run that we scored came very early in the game. I believe it came in the 2nd inning. Yeah, 2nd inning. Dylan Moore walked, then stole second, and then J.P. Crawford knocks him in with an RBI. I'm not going to say that JP has, fixed his swing or anything like that. He's still hitting 140 on the season, but, at least it's good to see that. And, first credit, Julio did have one of the Mariners' 3 hits in 9 innings, but then we go to the 10th inning. Let's start with the 8th inning, actually. So Logan in the 8th, he leaves the game in the 8th with 2 on and 2 out. Andres Munoz comes in and bails him out, but then in the 9th inning, Andres Munoz still out there. And look, guys, I know some of you guys might be critical of Scott's service here, but this is the right call, right? This is what you do. You go with your best reliever. The Blue Jays had, the heart of their order coming up. I believe it was Vlad and then Alejandro Kirk and somebody else. So, look, I know he's the closer and you don't want him pitching in non-closing situations, but 1-1 in the 9th inning in a game that feels kind of like a must-win, that is the right situation to throw Andres Munoz. What would you rather have Ryan Stanek pitching there and save Munoz for the 10th? I wouldn't. Okay, if Munoz happens to blow it, it's not really his fault that we lost the game. It falls on the offense. But, Munoz, to his credit, got in a little bit of trouble. He ended up loading the bases. And, at one point with 2 outs and 2 on, up to the game comes none other than former Mariner Daniel Vogelbach. And, of course, the Mariners had already had to endure former Mariner Yusei Kikuchi. I'm not sure if I mentioned that or not, but Kikuchi was the guy on the mound for the Blue Jays, and he really pieced together this Mariners lineup. Going. I believe he ended up with 9 strikeouts, and then the bullpen got 4 more for him. But into the game comes Daniel Vogelbach, pinch hitting, because he's not a starter for this Blue Jays team, but he comes into pinch hitting against Munoz, and you're like, wouldn't this just be the most classic way for this game to end, right? Gilbert throws a gem, but so does Kikuchi, and then another former Mariner in Vogelbach ends the game for his old team. And you're like, this better not happen. I would really love it if this doesn't happen. And guess what? It didn't happen. Vogelbach walked. Next guy pops up, and Jorge Polanco, to his credit, guys, this was not an easy ball to get because it was one of those kind of bloops that a lot of times will fall in for a base hit. It was right in the middle of center field, second base, right field. Polanco ranges back, though. He makes the catch, and he saves what would have been a walk-off bloop single. So instead, we go to the 10th inning, and all of a sudden, the Mariners break out the offense. Cal Raleigh, he goes deep, his second home run of the season, 61st of his Mariners career, guys. He is now ahead of Julio Rodriguez. He is 29th all-time for the Seattle Mariners organization. And it's also, guys, listen to this. It's the 9th time he's hit a home run against the Blue Jays in his career, and it's the 7th home run he's hit in Toronto. He's only played 10 games in Toronto. He has 7 home runs there. That is absolutely insane. Dude mashes in Rogers Center. Too bad we don't play there again this season, but good for Cal. He gets on the board. And of course, we had the ghost runner, so ends up with making it 3-1. Then the Mariners just continue to keep it rolling. Dominic Canzone, he draws a walk, and then so does J.P. Crawford. So now you got 2 on and 2 outs. Julio Rodriguez, he strikes out for the 4th time of the game, so he was already wearing the golden sombrero. That was unfortunate to see. But then with 2 on and 2 outs, up to the plate comes Ty France. He was 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts. But guess what Ty France does? He ropes a double. That scored, I believe, that scored Canzone, who had walked. And then from there, Mitch Haniger, now with 2 outs, 2 on. Mitch Haniger, he drives in a 2-run single, so he gets his first hit of the game. And now all of a sudden, the Mariners go from being down, from being tied 1-1, all of a sudden, it's 6-1, and the Mariners had scored 5 runs in a single inning for the first time this year. We'd scored 6 runs in a game for the first time this year. Polanco, he would end the inning by striking out for a 3rd time, so the Mariners still, unfortunately, wound up striking out 15 times, which is not good to see. But then in the 10th inning, Ryan Stanek came in and got the job done. It does not count as a save because we were up by 5 at that point. Andres Munoz, he gets the win, and he gets credited with a hold. And Jorge Polanco with, of course, that game-saving catch. Munoz didn't really look great. He obviously loaded the bases. He walked a couple of guys. Didn't have very good command, but in the end, he got the job done. Polanco got the job done for him with that soft contact, catching that bloop single and saving what would have been a walk-off hit. And then the Mariners offense finally showing up. They finally decided, let's wake up the gas. So now the Mariners are 5-8. They are tied with the Oakland Athletics. The A's are 4-7, so the A's do play later tonight. We'll see what happens in that game. But as of now, they are tied with the A's for 3rd place in the American League West. They are 2 games behind Texas and the Angels, who are tied in 1st place at 6-5. And the wild card, the Mariners and the A's are tied for 9th place in the wild card, tied for 12th overall in the American League. So we are, of course, better than the White Sox, and we are also better right now than the Houston Astros. And we are 3 games back of the wild card. All three of those teams right now, which would be the Red Sox, the Tigers, and the Royals. Those 3 teams are tied at 7-4, so the Mariners are 3 behind them for that 3rd wild card spot. So yeah, we make up about half a game with this win, while obviously a lot of games still pending. So not that the standings updates matter a whole lot right now, but it's definitely worth looking at. My 3 positives for today, guys. I already gave you my player of the game is Logan Gilbert, and that is the 2nd time that he has been player of the game. Just the 4th quality start from a Mariners starting pitcher this season, and Gilbert has 2 of those 4, and he has also been player of the game twice now. But my other 2 positives, I think obviously you have to say the 10th inning offense is a positive, and I think Cal Raleigh with another home run, that's a positive to see. Love to see him getting the offense going with that big home run for him. A couple other positives today. The Mariners drawing 5 walks. I did like that. Obviously, 15 strikeouts is tough, but 5 walks is nice to see. Dylan Moore had a couple of good at-bats. Didn't strike out at all, which is good to see. He did go 0 for 3, but he walked and stole that base and scored the run. And if not for Dylan Moore drawing that walk in the 2nd inning and then stealing, the Mariners would have lost this game 1-0, because that ended up being the difference between a 1-0 loss and 1-1 going into extra innings. Who knows that if Dylan Moore doesn't steal that base, he probably doesn't score on the J.P. Crawford single, and then Mariners lose that game. So Dylan Moore, he played a big part in this victory as well. Canzone comes in to pinch hit for Urias. Urias, he went 0 for 2, but Canzone, he had a nice little at-bat. He ends up going 0 for 1, but he also has a walk. Didn't strike out either. And then Luke Raley, he pinch ran and ended up scoring a run. So I guess he pinch ran for Mitch Garver. Not really sure which inning that was, but Luke Raley did score a run, so. Oh no, Luke. Okay, so Luke Raley was the guy who led off the inning, the 10th inning at second base. I see. Yeah, yeah. Luke Raley. I mean, good for him, I guess. Coming in as a pinch runner, he didn't do anything, but he didn't strike out, so good for him. And then JP Crawford. I wouldn't say he's broken out of his slump yet, but he put together some decent at bats today. He had a hard line drive out at one point, didn't strike out at all. He drew a walk, and he ended up with that RBI single. Scored a run in the 10th inning. He definitely helped that 10th inning rally stay alive. Not that we needed it, but good to have that insurance. So yeah. Solid stuff from the Mariners today. Also, this is big. The Mariners did not make a single error today. Love to see that for the M's because I feel like that happens quite often. You'll see the Mariners end up making errors in the field. And Polanco, he had some opportunities to make some errors, but he made a couple of decent plays out there. So I'd love to see Polanco having a good day in the field, even if his offensive line looked like what it did, which is 0 for 5 and 3 strikeouts. Guys, the lineup's still not looking amazing, but it's improving. We have JP, Julio, Polanco, Garver, Cal, and Urias. All 6 of those guys are still hitting below the Mendoza line, but Julio he's up to 196 now, so he's closing in. Right, he's closing in on getting over 200 permanently, hopefully. And then Polanco at 167, obviously not amazing, but JP Crawford now up to 140, again not amazing, but it's improving. It's improving stuff. We're seeing these guys at least be competent. And Cal's average is up to 194. And Cal, he did strike out once, but he also had that big 2-run home run. His OPS now up to 617, so good to see from him. Yeah, I mean, look, the Mariners, not an amazing team yet, but this was a win that we definitely needed. Falling to 4-9 would have felt pretty tough. Getting swept on the road would have been tough. Instead, you walk away with a 2-4 road trip. Now you got a day off tomorrow. And then on Friday, come home to face the Cubs, who have been pretty good this season. So I'm interested to see how that game is going to go. It'll be Bryce Miller on the mound on Friday night for the Mariners, and for the Cubs, who are currently 7-4, but they do have, I believe they don't play tomorrow, but they still have a game to play today. They play the Padres today, so the Cubs, that we'll see what they do, but it'll be, it looks like it's going to be Jordan Wicks on the mound for them, 24-year-old, who has a 4.15 ERA through 2 starts so far this season. So Miller against Wicks should be interesting. Both young starting pitchers. Miller has been the better pitcher so far this year, so it'll be awesome to hopefully get yet another win and climb a little bit closer to 500. The Mariners currently 3 below 500 on the season right now, so we gotta hope that we can get back to 500 as quick as we can. With all that being said, guys, I think that's it today for the post-game show. Like I said, Logan Gilbert, he's player of the game. Mariners get a nice little win, exploding the offense in the 10th inning. And guys, if you like this recap, if you like this post-game format, please make sure to subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss another Mariners post-game. Tomorrow, the Mariners don't play, so we're going to have some Seahawks content coming at you guys. We are talking draft, all things Seattle Seahawks draft, all things NFL draft, as that is, of course, happening in, I believe, less than 2 weeks now, or maybe about almost exactly 2 weeks now from today is going to be that big draft. So talking about what players the Seahawks want to draft, what positions we need to focus on, what the strategy should be with that first round pick. Do we trade it down? Do we pick there? Do we trade up? What are we going to do there? All that kind of stuff and more right here on the NW Sportscast. So if you like Seattle sports as much as we do, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join us for the journey. We are continuing to grow ever so slowly, but if with your guys' help, we're continuing to build our consistency, continuing to build on this format, and continuing to grow a community of passionate Seattle sports fans. As always, guys, go Mariners, and we'll see you all in the next one.